Welcome back to another edition of the Bardown podcast. You know what? I just thought of something from the last time out. Yes, there are people who've been watching this for a little bit of time, but there might be people who are watching this video for the first time. And we've never really ever introduced ourselves once.
Wow.
Not even really once.
That's fair.
Since many videos ago, I'd imagine. So why don't you very briefly sum yourself up and say your name as we go from left to right here. Go ahead.
I'm Luca Celebre. I'm an Adams fan. I don't know. This is so weird.
This is Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Luca.
All right.
Hey, what's up? I'm Corwin McCallum. I like hanging with my friends, and sometimes I really like playing sports,
Video games.
video games. I snowboard. My birthday is the same as Jay-Z's.
Very nice.
Mine is the same as Carmelo Anthony's.
Oh,
And my dad's
Nice.
name is Carmelo.
Mine is the same as Mac Miller's.
wow.
That's
Rest
a
in
pretty
peace.
good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Julia Roberts and I have the same birthday.
Oh,
Wow.
That's
Not even
I
going
like-
with John Tavares.
That's kind of
Oh, sorry.
that's
and
kind of
John-
cheap.
Me and John Tavares were born in the exact same day in the exact same city.
potentially in the same hospital. We don't know.
We don't know that. Yeah,
That
we
could
don't
be
know that.
pretty fun to investigate.
And my name's Daniel, or DZ, or Dan Zakshevsky in some places, and only one place.
That'll get you.
I didn't really introduce myself.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Sorry, yeah,
I
we
just kind of said who I.
we just
said
went over
birthday as.
birthdays.
My name is Jesse Pollock. I'm a squid. I'm a proud Winnipeg Jets fan. I'm from Winnipeg, and
Is it?
I don't
Don't
really
think
know
too
how to
hard
say it.
about it.
I was
I'm
like-
thinking
well,
really
I was
hard.
like, damn, it's gonna be a
yeah.
deep cut.
And I'm really excited for the new Legend of Zelda movie. How does that sound? And and I have a Legend of Zelda tattoo on my back.
He
The
does.
only- how does that sound?
And Harry Potter, no? Or no?
No.
I confuse it for Harry Potter every time I look
Should I
at it.
get-
Is what
You
I'm
think
thinking.
it's the hollows,
Should
but
I
it's
get the
not.
scar?
Wow.
Should I get the scar?
As a tattoo?
That would be.
I bet you people have done that.
What if we all get it?
Let us get to our topic. And our topic today, we've already started firing up the trade machine because if you haven't already noticed from all the videos we've done, what is it, like biggest surprises? I can't remember the rest. But either way,
I think we did-
we don't like waiting.
No. Well, we did biggest surprises, overreactions.
Okay.
What was the last one? It was
Ranking the
It was
best
top
lines.
Best
Which
lines.
someone rightfully was like, if you're going to put my Detroit Red Wings in the thumbnail, talk about them for more than 1 minute. And I was like, yeah, I guess we didn't.
We still didn't?
No, it was right. He actually was right. I looked at it. I was like, tough.
Wow.
Anyway,
That is rude. Yeah, and like I think the thumbnail says best line.
we very quickly were like, no. And then just-
They're there.
But also,
They're
whatever.
there.
We're talking about the Red Wings. Like, we don't even talk about some teams on the pod. So, like,
Yeah, we'd like to. We'd like to get to as many teams as we can, but clearly we're not going to watch every single team as closely. Canucks fans know that very well. Even though recently we've probably watched more Canucks than ever, maybe. I don't know about you.
Watched?
Yeah.
Oh, I've watched so much
Yeah.
Canucks. Yeah.
Either way, we're impatient once again, but this time it's with the trade machine. It's firing up already, and that's why we're talking best trade suggestions. So each and every one of these guys, they're going to give some trade suggestions. We're going to banter about, and I'm going to read from the armchair GM section of Cap Friendly there, just to kind of fill it out there, because there's some interesting trade suggestions in there. So
That place
Yeah.
is dark.
you guys ready to put your GM hats on?
I will say right now, I took a little peek in there. It's 80% Oilers fans right now.
Oh, yeah.
it's gotta be.
Makes
Time to
sense.
hit it's
It's
time
a
to
lot
hit the
of
panic
Leafs.
button.
It's a lot of Leafs.
Yeah,
in there,
Leafs too, yeah.
As
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also time to hit the panic button. No, I'm kidding.
I don't feel great about them still. So, but unless they continue to bring up some of the guys that are, we don't need to get into that.
We might. We'll see. But let's start off with Jesse.
I've got a couple of different trades, but I feel like I actually made a video on one yesterday, and then I saw that people I actually saw a friend of mine, Johnny Lazarus, tweeted this originally, and I thought the same thing too before, but like hadn't really published it, and I thought it was really great that he made this tweet because it's a great suggestion. How could you get Linus Ullmark to the Oilers? He's got I believe he has a no movement clause or a modified one of the two. I think he has a modified no movement clause, and I think that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has a no movement clause. And look, I know it's like if you're Boston, you don't really want to mess with what's going on because you have two amazing goalies, and that's been like such a key part of their success. And who knows, if you get rid of one of those goalies, maybe kind of compromises your season, the chemistry. They are obviously very good friends. You don't really want to mess with anything. But I mean, obviously only one of these guys is going to be playing in the playoffs, right? You're not really going to be alternating likely in the playoffs.
They didn't do that, which
no.
obviously they got critiqued
Maybe
for
they
doing
should.
that.
Maybe they should. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a different strategy if they don't make a move. And I doubt they move anyone. But I mean, don't you think that like Boston could use a little center depth? And a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's on a very team-friendly deal, could be a very nice addition to that Boston team. Plus, Allmark, I believe, is only signed for this year and next year at $5 million. I think he immediately helps. He helps solve a huge issue right now for the Oilers between the pipes. And I just think that like if you look at Boston, like I just look at their roster now, they're good. But as we saw last year, I just don't think that roster's good enough to make a long, deep playoff run. And I think they need center depth. And I think Nugent-Hopkins could be a guy that helps drive a lot of offense for them.
Like, I don't think, funny enough, like I agree with all of the sentiments in your argument, and I could, if they did that, I'd be like, okay, cool. But funny enough, I do think it's Boston who says no. Just
I
'cause
do
of-
too.
I think it's just your strategy of theirs, as you said. And again, if they did it, I'd be like, there's a lot of wisdom in doing that because the depth would make sense. But it seems like they really did want to roll the dice like they did by paying both of these guys, and they really trusted in having that tandem. And they probably will get rid of them probably at the end of the year, but I don't know. They seem to find players to fill these spots anyways with who they've kind of brought up already, and Nuge definitely could add. But yeah, I don't know. That strategy of the two goalies, it seems like they're pretty in on it. But again, like it's not that I disagree with your trade.
I just think that like they did, and like I get the strategy too. They were the best team in the league last year. Like, I understand, but I just feel like come playoff time, I feel like their center
one
depth
guy.
I still feel like they're gonna make a move at the deadline, but their center depth will hurt them. They're gonna have to pay Swayman. There's no way that you're gonna be paying two goalies, in my opinion, $5 million. Like Swayman should be demanding like at least $6 million on a long-term deal eventually. He's been that good this year for them, and you can't be paying two goalies over $5 million. In my opinion, that's just kind of insane.
Long term, like that's who they'd go with, Swayman.
Swayman, exactly. So it's like, do you want to get value? And Nugent-Hopkins is signed to a very team-friendly deal, and he's got lots of term left, and he's finally. I feel like he's playing his best hockey right now.
I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
If I'm the Bruins, I don't know how much like Nugent-Hopkins, independent of McDavid and Draisaitl, scares me for giving up like a Vezina caliber goaltender or a guy that's played like that. So that's why I'd say no if I'm the Bruins. Because I just don't know how good Nugent-Hopkins actually is. Like,
Well, with Marchand and Pasternak, I think he'd be pretty darn good.
he could
He'd be very good on that top
but
line.
do they
right?
play
Yeah.
him there? Like,
Probably.
I guess if you give up that much for him, for
number-
sure.
And they're still figuring
He'd
out
be
their
their number
lines.
one
Like,
center.
They
they're
are.
shuffling them.
But I just still don't know how good Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is. Like, and also, if you're the Oilers, Allmark came into a great Bruins system, which I think is kind of the catalyst. And I'm not saying Swayman and Allmark are not good goalies, but I would say that you're giving up offense, which hasn't been your friend this season, quite frankly, with McDavid and Draisaitl kind of struggling a little bit. They've combined for 7 goals this year so far. So, like, you're giving up a piece that could help you and help your offensive depth in this time where you're struggling a little offensively. For a goaltender that's coming into a bad position with the defense around him, you're looking at him like, okay, you got to be the same guy you were in Boston. I just don't know how likely that
But how many goalies are you gonna say that you can that like are actually like potentially tradable for your team? Like, no, of course, any goalie that goes into Edmonton is going to be in a weird position because the defense has been playing well. But at what point?
Tough position.
At what point are you the Oilers where you're just like, okay, we need to bite the bullet and just go acquire a goalie because we have McDavid and Draisaitl who are on like the final years of their contract and we need to like fix this ASAP. Like Nugent-Hopkins, for me, if I'm the Oilers, like to get a good goalie who potentially could fix your problems, that's a fine casualty. And for Boston, a team that like is struggling with cap space right now, you don't really know a lot about some of their future. Like I just feel like getting a guy like Nuge would be great for them to play with guys like Pasternak and Marchand. I think that's a very, very nice piece for them to get. Look, am I saying the trade's going to happen? No.
Nah, we're punting them out.
Do I see a lot of logic behind a trade like this? Yeah.
Yeah, my only fear, like from an Oilers side of like, because I kind of agree that I think it's a tough trade to make happen because like what you said, I think that, and again, like I said, what's up? We're just throwing out hypotheticals.
I don't think Boston's gonna
This,
trade all.
whatever happens in his room and his head will happen.
No, but all I was going to say is that
Manifesting it.
how quickly then does let's say Edmonton's goaltending bounces back a bit, and now the problem is their depth scoring, and it's like how long was that the narrative with their team? That they need more depth scoring. They need more guys than McDavid.
Do you have an Oilers trade in your little dossier here?
Yeah. But,
Do you want to just go? Because I am curious. Because we were talking about this a little bit pre-show. The Oilers are the most obvious team to highlight, and all of this is they got to fix something, and that was what we were kind of bandying around. Is okay, well, which piece do you move, and which one do you really feel you actually have to improve? So why don't you toss that one out right now? What
I
is
don't
it
want this
you
to count as
target?
one of my trades though.
Okay, well, I'll let you say another one.
I think I have more.
Maybe we'll come back to it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I just think while we're on maybe we stay on the Oilers while we're on the Oilers.
Doesn't count.
The one I
Doesn't count.
tossed
Sure.
around. Okay, and it's not.
This is your Oilers.
Yeah, if the one I tossed around was that maybe they go to Anaheim, who I think is playing a little pretty good right now, and they have two goalies right now that are going pretty good. And I think they have less at stake than Boston,
sure.
so there's less to mess around with. So I think you look at a guy like John Gibson, who's already requested trades and seems like he's on the way out anyways. I think you go for him and you go for non-roster pieces. So I think you trade a first and
All
Broberg.
assets.
Like a first and Broberg, which is Broberg's one of those guys that really seemed like high potential, has kind of struggled to crack the NHL roster. But I think Anaheim, you're looking for kind of maybe some of those pieces. That
Is he a free agent at the year's end?
Broberg?
No,
Gibson.
Gibson. I'll check while you're talking.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
Don't
look
worry,
at
I
it.
got you.
Like I said, that was just one I'd kind of thrown around, but the
No, Gibson is already getting paid $6.4 million. He's actually probably the same age as Allmark.
yeah. Sorry, the other part.
By the way, there's a lot of term left on
It's a
his
lot of
deal.
term.
5. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 more years at 6.5 points.
And his play has
the
continuously
one other
declined.
thing. I don't think decline. Definitely in the past couple of years, he has not been what they thought he was.
when they signed him to the contract.
Yeah,
It's pretty tough though for that's a lot
but he's off to a good start this year. And then I would also the other one you'd have to include Jack Campbell to
make it even work.
Yeah.
So effectively, and they've already sunk 5 with him, right? He's at 5 flat pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're already kind of committed. So if you could somehow get them to buy that, I don't know. I guess maybe that could
I think
work.
there's some upside there for Anaheim. One, because you're taking that first round pick where you're
Sure. And it could be
Maybe
useful
the Oilers keep
if
on
it doesn't work
struggling here.
I was
Exactly.
going to say, well, but I don't even know if they have their first this year, so I don't know if that even actually makes sense. I don't know what year the first would be.
Yeah.
Can you hit cap friendly?
Yeah, I'll do that. But
I think Varlamov's another name that I saw where the Islanders are, because you want it to be Sorokin's show, but Varlamov's been the better goalie this year so far, which is a little surprising. But they've always kind of done the tandem thing and never kind of given full reign to Sorokin. So maybe you can go get Varlamov if you entice them enough with a draft pick and a young piece.
My only thing that is
But
the Islanders feel similar to the Boston,
I
where they're
agree.
more of a win now team.
I agree.
don't see them giving up something that's working.
So they do have their first round pick for this year, which shocks me for some reason. I don't know why, but
I think Ken Holland's been pretty clear. He's I'm not giving up firsts, but
we you know what? In the trade that kind of sparked this pre-show, I might as well say it now.
Yeah.
It was Jack Campbell, and this is for Soup for Soros from Cletus the Pig on Cap Friendly.
wow.
Jack Campbell, Evan Bouchard, and a third and a second rounder. The third, and they're all in future years. In exchange for UC Soros and then Thomas Novak.
Which I think was funny because I think we all said no for
Other
both
reasons.
these.
No for both is what, but
It's
okay.
Edmonton, Bouchard's your best defenseman probably.
And this is where we disagreed, but I'm just thinking by highlighting someone like Nuge, personally on my end, that probably would be more as an Oilers fan, where I would hope they would probably start skimming someone. It is on the offensive side because, as you said, I just find it hard to believe that it's just the goalie being the problem as much as their goalies aren't helping them. It's just they're not that hard to play against defensively, and by getting rid of your best defenseman, is that really going to make life that easy for Saros? And is this guy really going to be that much of a difference? Because again, like they said, cup or bust. So it's not even like, oh, can you kind of fix a situation where we're not as bad? It's like, does that make you a cup contender? Getting rid of Evan Bouchard? Like, I think
but
not
that's
at all.
why I would say I don't think we can look at the Oilers and say who from their roster are they trading. I don't think they would trade anybody from their
Because
roster.
they're kind of thin in a.
But like, oh
Yeah.
my god! But
Sure,
For
yeah.
me as an Oilers fan, I'm just like,
But they have picks and they have prospects, so like give them up.
Yeah.
like
If there's a win now thing, that's it.
Who are their like great prospects right now? Also, just want to say the Darnell Nurse contract is awful. That's got to be one of the worst contracts in the league. Easy. Like, that could have been a piece. Maybe if he's playing better, you can afford to get rid of another defenseman. But like, you're paying this guy $9.5 million, and he's doing like next to nothing. He's not playing like a $9.5 million player. He has not been that number one defenseman that the Oilers have been hoping for, and like they're struggling as a result of it. Like we're talking about how much their defense is struggling, and like I don't know how good Bouchard is necessarily defensively. Obviously, he's amazing offensively, and he's got a really bright future. But like, I don't know. I just think the Oilers, which prospects do you think that they would like want to dangle?
Broberg would be the one. It's good that they have picks, and then like Xavier Bourgault maybe. They have a couple that like there's a guy.
Apparently their AHL goalie is really good. Apparently this guy's been like the best goalie in the AHL.
No. Jack Campbell just got
No. The other guy.
Sorry.
Jesper
Well played.
Wallstedt's probably
Well played.
been the best AHL goalie.
Apparently this guy is very good, and also like.
So, but like,
Is Broberg that good? Like, I feel like he.
You're
Like,
right that the stock's not that high.
we're starting.
not
We're
crazy
starting
high
to get
right
on.
now,
We're
but-
starting to get on like. You're starting to get in territory where it's like. Maybe he'll pan out, but like you're starting to get concerned that this guy could be a bust.
But that's-
8th overall
I-
pick. He's 22.
Yeah,
hasn't
but-
really done much.
but if I'm Anaheim, why not take a risk on that and a first from this year? Like that.
Of the trades out loud we said, I don't know if yours happens at all, but I think that's probably the one that Oilers fans would probably be like, yeah. Because, fans are chaotic, as you said. They just want something to happen, but I do agree with your sentiment that they probably don't want a piece from their current team because they're in such a tough spot depth-wise all over the place. But, I don't know. You guys done talking Oilers? You want to keep going? on this for a moment
I just
before
want to
move
know
on?
too, just on the topic of Saros, like where you guys. Like, I feel like Saros is
Top
a
three,
great.
like,
he's
yeah.
a great trade piece.
So I have
Totally.
him. As,
That was-
I have him as
okay.
one of mine.
Well,
Like,
I
one
w-
of my suggestions.
He's,
so
he's
maybe hear
incredible.
that, too.
That's not the debate.
That's
Like,
a good transition to his. But also the other thing I was gonna say, I think Nashville says no too because I think
Yeah.
You want first.
They want
you
more.
want first.
They probably do want.
And like
You want picks back.
I don't know, but like Bouchard's what 22? Like he could be like a.
he is.
He like
He is a
You're also
great-
taking on Jack Campbell's salary as
Yeah,
well. and
the Camel part's big.
And the Oilers have assets, so you
Yeah.
know you could ask for them.
yeah.
But either way, Oilers, good luck.
I don't
Luca,
think-
what's your
I
next
don't think
trade?
anyone's taking on that entire Campbell contract
Yeah.
unless they're getting a ton of compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So for Saros, I want him to go to LA. I want LA to go out and get him. And it would cost a bit because, like, cap situation, whatever. I know if teams want to make it work, they'll figure out ways to work money. I think in the end, Arvidsson probably has to go back. He's on LTIR right now, but he goes to a familiar place in Nashville, which is nice. You give up a first-round pick and maybe throw in, like, Phoenix Copley. But the goaltending thing and the part of this that makes it work is because Askarov is in Nashville's system, and he's the next goalie. You don't need Saros right now where your team is currently at a rebuilding point, and you're not really competing right now. So
I
may
just
as
don't
well
see why Nashville's doing that.
you get a pick
Why would
back.
they want Arvidsson? One pick for
Maybe
a
two.
top
You
five
might have to
goalie?
give up. You might have to give up 2 firsts for sure. I guess my thing is like LA, go get him. Whatever
Yeah.
it costs, LA, go get him. 2 first-round picks. If that does it, then sure. You might have to throw in Turcotte as a prospect if you want to, which is
washed prospects.
he's having a good.
Like
he's having a good.
everyone's
he's
talking
having
about
a good year.
LA's. Everyone's talking about LA's like remember they had the richest prospect pool, and now it's just
Yeah.
like.
Well, it's because a
not.
lot of them are playing for.
A lot of
Now
them
the
are
lot
playing.
are playing.
Like
And,
Lafreniere.
I would say like someone like if I was Nashville, I'd be like, give me Brant Clark, give me 2.
I didn't know how deep I wanted to go on it because I was like,
not
how?
Brandon Clark and 2 first.
No, I'm saying if I'm Nashville,
If
that's
you're
what I'm
Nashville, you're
for.
asking.
That's-
So
that's a
do you
lot.
real?
Even
what
if
do
it
you
was
realistically?
even if it was
Clark.
just Brent Clark.
Yeah.
Straight up for UC
No,
Saros?
but like with the other picks, not two first
I
rounds,
don't
but
think
like
I don't think it's that. Like you don't need to give up.
I
that
think you
much
can
more than
eventually.
Clark.
I think you can negotiate. I'm just saying,
'Cause he's
from
got two-
Nashville's perspective, I'm probably asking for that, and
You're not
maybe you
getting
end up in
that,
it.
but-
Okay, so
Yeah,
what do
but
you
Nashville
think a fair deal? Because I feel like we have a conversation. Here
Sure,
that
like, this is
works on
part of
both
it.
Sides,
Go
but
ahead,
what do you,
GMs.
What do you think works?
I think you could probably end up getting to like Brant Clark, a first and a third.
How about this though? Like
I'd do
again,
it.
you are Nashville right now. That's your ask then.
No, because I would never ask for. I'd ask for more.
Does Nashville have like that much leverage, man? Like they
don't
have Saros,
think
who's
so either.
great, but he's got like 1 year left on his deal. I'm pretty sure, and
No,
they have
two,
Ast-
including this. If you're
So they have 2 more after this year?
No, sorry.
This,
Including
this
this year,
year
it's
and
like-
next year,
it's
they're
stuff
rebuilding, and they also have Askarov coming up. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think. Like, man, Clark's a pretty damn good prospect. Like, you know,
He's
like
a good
Yeah, but
prospect,
I agree.
but-
But like LA's not even playing him.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say.
he'll get there. Like, he's going to be a good
taking
player.
time.
I know, but
He'll be a good player.
if we're talking about like I know he's
I
more
will
highly
say, if
touted
you're
than
LA,
Talbot, but
if you believe in him so much,
Nah,
why
that's
doesn't he
not
play
like
on the
no,
team?
because you can be patient with that stuff.
Talbot's been pretty good for the Kings this year. 2.14 GAA, 9.23 save percentage. He's got a 6-2-1 record.
He is.
And I don't know, can LA, like, I feel like cap-wise, they're going to have to get pretty creative.
that's why
to make that
Arvidsson
work.
has to go back the other way.
But if he's already on LTIR,
They still have money to make it work. Like they can make it work. I don't know how. We're not cap people, obviously, but I think like if they have to send someone back to get Saros, I'm sure they will.
I'm a
And
consumer math student.
they acquired.
By the way, Cam
Merzlikins
Talbot.
last year.
Cam
at the
Talbot is
Delbit-
currently
at the
top.
deadline.
At the
At
Delbit.
Delbit. Yeah,
Talbot is currently top 5 in goals saved above expected in the league. right
which
now.
is
been
great
great.
for Cam Talbot and
bottom
like,
5 for
maybe
Phoenix Copley, by the way.
maybe this trade's like projecting a little bit of a fall off there for Talbot. I think if you're following what the Kings have tried to do though, like at last year's deadline and this offseason, maybe their whole thing is like, yeah, we can get by with anyone in net. But if I'm them, like they've got a really good team. Add Saros.
But you're definitely
to
not
the
getting rid
mix.
of Brant Clark to fix that situation.
I would.
So I
Really?
I want
I
to be
would.
clear. I probably wouldn't, just because I still feel like just roll whatever goalies kind of at that point.
That's
but,
fair.
But
So you
but I
wouldn't
think
get rid of him.
if LA was like, we need a goalie, I think you give that up for Saros.
I think so too.
Interesting conversation. Jesse, we're sliding on over to you, pal.
I didn't get to
Corn,
say
you
one.
Oh,
said
did
it.
you? Okay.
I only
No, because
know.
it didn't count.
Yeah, it didn't count.
Didn't count.
Yeah. Well, you made me say it.
Yeah,
God, almost got
it
dogged.
didn't count like Samsonov's numbers.
Exactly. So mine. So funny enough, can I? I'm just trying to sneak more and more trades in.
Guy's
here.
gonna have like 8 by the end of it. He was like, oh, that one actually was like a light.
Well, so I have one that like I think works for both teams for the same guy, and it's like a guy that I think like people should be going for.
Okay, I liked. This is fun, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say both. Well, I don't. It's
No,
also-
just say
do it,
one.
man.
Hey,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
what?
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think
No rules here.
Now.
so. I think Toronto and Vancouver are in pretty similar situations.
Whoa, that already
I
for,
know where this
I
is
know.
going.
for the people begging you to wear a Tyler Myers jersey.
I know.
And watch 1,600 hours of their games.
I know exactly where Corwin's going.
And where are we going, Corwin?
I think so.
We're going to a team that has looked great so far. Like so much better than anybody expected them to. I wouldn't say great. Great's for sure.
Another team outside of the Canucks.
Outside of the Canucks. Yeah, we're going to the Flyers.
Okay. Wait, who just lost?
Oh wait, did you
to the
guys think I
Sharks?
was? Did you guys think I was trading the Leafs to like from the Leafs?
No,
Yeah.
no. I thought you were going to try to trade another player to one of those teams. And
Yeah, exactly.
I have
So
another player.
I think both of these teams should be going hard at Travis Sanheim. I think he is unbelievable. He's got maybe the best contract in the league. And
What does it take to get him?
Yeah.
I threw out some. So for the Leafs, like again,
What a change.
I don't even know if Leafs fans might hate this. I don't know. But in my mind, I think they have enough.
Oh, that was a Leafs thing. Sorry. I was like, he's wearing official team gear while saying this, but he's not.
Because like he's looked great on the top line. He's had a great start this year, but I think you need to give up something like this.
Say it.
I'm gonna go. For Toronto, they get Travis Sanheim and they give up Klingberg, Nyes, a first and a second.
That is.
I think it costs more than. I think it costs 2 firsts. But I'd
Funny
consider it.
enough, I wrote 2 words, and I was like, that's too much. That's too much.
I think it costs 2, but like,
Man.
So and then for
Ooh.
Vancouver, I think they're going same thing. I think you're throwing out Tom Willander and then 2 firsts or first and a second, ideally if you can get it there.
Jesse is awakened when you said that.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking.
And then I think you'd have to throw in like a Carson Soucy or an Ian Cole to try and make the money work.
so Philly only says no in this scenario probably because
Like if they really believe in their team this year, but
Yeah.
like which would shock me.
well, not even
not
this year
just this
because
year,
it's
it's
like
going forward. He's
if
got such a big
Sanheim is
contract.
this good,
But-
he's gonna be the anchor of that D unit for years to come.
But he's not young.
how old
He's
is
27 years old.
he? Ooh, that does make it a little more interesting.
That old for
Not that old,
either,
no.
but like,
But when
that's
you
the-
think of
but a
Philly
little-
and when they're going to compete,
the weird thing is though, because like if we're also just using the reality of how these teams treat themselves, the reason why they're in the situation that they're in is like they're in a tough market where like they have hesitated to rebuild, where it's
Yeah.
like they're not wanting to enter a stage of being the worst, even though they've been the worst team or
Yeah.
one of the worst teams. They
I
don't
know.
want to be that.
and they've played really well this year. So it's a
Yes.
harsh thing to say to Philly, but
Even
I
though they
also-
lost to the Sharks, but
Yes, yeah.
Have they
whatever.
played that
goalie.
well? They've been okay.
I think they've played.
they've
I
been
think they've
better
been,
than
What's the
expected.
record? They're like, what are they like?
like 500-ish.
It's-
I'm not trying to say
yeah.
they're like, they're the
Better than
a playoff
expected.
team or something. But like, I think they've
The results have
played
been
way
good.
better than expected.
They played the
Like,
Sabres back to back, and they were like they lost one of those games. I actually thought they were the better team in both.
Yeah, I think like, and that's funny enough. Like almost anytime I watch a Philly game, I feel like most of the time I'm watching them, like they kind of look like the better
They
team.
suffocate teams, like
Yeah.
they really do. Like when I was-
Torts.
Yeah, shout out to Torts.
Torts effect.
He's doing some work there, but I
I don't
just
know,
mean.
man. They lost to the Stars.
No, I know, yeah, like it's
But if
They
you,
got
watch,
goalie.
if you watch
Yeah, they
that
got-
game,
yeah.
they like doubled them in
39 shots.
The
that's who the Oilers need to go for.
who?
Was it Rant? Who was in net there?
Oh,
Mackenzie
for-
Blackwood?
Oh, was I'm
Okay,
joking.
so let me ask you this: if you end up doing this, are you kind of like that's going to be a lot of money, obviously, for Toronto to have to commit to going forward? Do you like what's going to happen with Nylander then if he's demanding all this money? Are you kind of accepting that if you make a trade like this, that you would be potentially okay with Nylander walking?
How much is Sanheim making?
6.2.
He's only
6.2
making
is
like
not that bad.
he's
And-
only
and if
making-
the cap goes up, I think you can make.
Yeah,
it
I
work.
know he's only making so much more than Klingberg, but what's Klingberg on? Like a 1 year?
4.5, yeah.
On a
But then
one-year
deal.
Domi's on
It's
a
a one-
1-year deal and Bertuzzi is as well.
Yeah, like you'll clear off some money. And
I think it's going to be very hard for them to keep Sanheim making 6.2 and then have Matthews, Tavares, Marner, and then add Nylander.
you're saying
into the
6.2 is not a lot.
No, it's quite low, and he's locked in.
It's only
to 6.2.
1.7
Yeah.
more than Klingberg.
Yeah, but Klingberg's a free agent after this year.
Exactly.
I know, but like it's basically like paying Klingberg long term for 1.7
Well, yeah, the
more.
money
Can they
probably isn't
afford
the
that?
issue. The money, yeah, no.
They can
I
afford
think
it.
they
I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, like again,
So Nylander's going to want a lot of money. I think that's another thing. I kind of think Nylander's out of Toronto next year, but that's just my opinion.
Do you have that as one of your trades?
No, because I don't think that the Leafs would trade him this year.
yeah, but also, I mean, you have a history of saying this.
Well, no, it's like you're going to be paying Riley $8 million. Then you're going to be paying
Not 8 million, by the way.
How
Less than that. I think it's 7.5.
I can look while you
Okay,
guys are
7
discussing the rest.
7.5. Then you're gonna have to pay Sanheim 6.2. Then you're gonna have to pay Tavares 11 million. Then you're gonna have to pay Marner 10.6 million. Then you're gonna have to pay Matthews 13.5 million. It's like at some point, like there's too much money. Like,
It is 7.5.
yeah, like at some point, it's just a lot. It's a lot of money. I think Nylander's gonna be demanding and the cap's gonna go up next year. I think Nylander's gonna be charging at least $10.5 million. In my opinion.
We'll
I don't
quickly
think so.
slide on because
I-
we're talking trades anyways. But
Well, what do you think Nylander asked for?
I think in the end they get him. I think they eventually get him to 9.5.
I feel like a team's gonna throw the bag at Willie.
That the only reason I'm not saying there isn't again
Chicago.
wisdom in what you're saying at all, and he could totally stay. But the open market can determine a lot of this, and you never know how much cap space someone has. It's hard to say no if someone's throwing a bag in your face, and
Which
he's a
I'm-
great
which I'm
player.
fine with, yeah,
he's
if-
not even just great. You could market around the guy too. Where if someone's just looking for like we want another like kind of cornerstone guy, he would get that extra uptick I think in the money just for being off ice.
Like,
as well.
like, what
I
about-
do even think that's that.
What about
Someone
a team,
throw money at him.
What about a team like Chicago, who just like they're gonna have so much cap space next year? They're gonna want to surround Nylander with guys like
Just like how Chicago is going to make a run at Matthews, right?
they signed him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
But I'm
Let's
saying, this is
get
like this
back
is
to the
just
trade.
always
That's kind of a
always. I know it's always the narrative with the Leafs that like, oh, all their guys are going to leave. Like
It could
they
happen
all,
with
they all
one of
say
them.
they
I'm
love
just
playing in
saying, man.
Toronto.
They have
It
a
could.
lot. They they only have so much money to spend. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with both your points, but trade machine.
Okay, yeah. So, speaking of Vancouver, they look pretty good this year. And I feel like
Especially against the Oilers.
They still
They can play the Oilers every
They
game.
go 82-0, baby.
they still need some defensive help.
Even
I
though
think. I don't think their defense is good enough.
Hronik was a good pickup.
Hronik was a good pickup for sure.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. If we were ranking best D pairs in the league, it's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Hronik and
I
Hughes.
think I would send a team that has been struggling is the Calgary Flames. And I think I would try to get a guy like Chris Tanev back in Vancouver if I'm the Canucks.
So what's the deal on your?
A first round pick and maybe a prospect good. Like I don't think you necessarily have to give up like the house for Tanev. There will be high demand for him at the deadline, I'm sure.
He is in the last year.
He's
so
in the
he's a
last year.
rental.
There'll be high demand for a guy like him. Maybe like
I think it's a good fit though.
a first and a prospect and maybe like I don't know, is a third a lot. Like I just feel like these guys, like far worse defensemen, go for a lot more, like at the deadline, and I just feel like I don't know. I feel like like maybe like a first, a third, and a prospect.
So not even specific to the player. Do all of you guys agree that if you were Vancouver and what you're seeing early on right now, you're already in that mode of I'll roll the dice and make a move if it makes sense because I want to build from here and actually get a good run going if we make the playoffs?
They've played so well that I think why not capitalize on that? Because they've put themselves in a position now that like they'd have to really fall off like crazy to not at least like squeak
You'd have
in
to have
as
a collapse.
Yeah, which like again, I do think they're a flawed team still. Like I do think some of that bottom six still isn't the best. Like, but. Obviously, Sam Lafferty's off to a hot start from what I saw to Sam Lafferty. I don't.
We
think he's that great
Sam
of a player.
laughed at.
I don't think he's that great of a player. I get he is helpful for their penalty kill, but he's obviously their whole team is off to an insane start.
Like they have award winners, favorites. I mean, for awards like Quinn for the Norris,
Yeah.
Pedersen for the Art Ross, Demko for the Vezina. Like
Yeah.
you can bet on all
Talk
those
it for
guys.
Jack Adams.
Talking for Jack Adams, 100%. Like if the season ended today, all four of those guys are probably
Considered.
winning those awards.
But I think you can address like with what Jesse's talking about. I think you can address some of those problems by making a move.
Hughes is averaging 23 minutes and 54 seconds of ice time, and Hronik's averaging 23 minutes and 57 seconds. That is insane.
And by the way, that whole because like it was the beginning of the year and everything's changed context wise, but that whole Connor Garland thing where they were rumored to trying to get rid of that's got to be over now, right?
You'd think like
Like they could use him as a piece in something.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that was the thing I said from the beginning. I never understood why they were trying to move him ball. He's on a great deal. He seems like a good player. They don't play him like in their top six, so I kind of get that. I guess if you're not going to
The money doesn't match that level of what they're looking for.
kind
I
of,
guess.
but if it just means that you're going to have a good third line, then
Yeah.
that's
I guess
No,
fine,
yeah.
too.
The good news for the Canucks and their fans is the trade deadline is not right now because you probably want to
got
just
time.
see them continue to maintain this
No,
pace
but
before making a move.
I disagree though, because
Really?
I think because and I like again.
but that doesn't.
I know I
Were
was
you
so-
saying make a move now?
I think make a move now because
Which
it's like-
rarely happens.
it does. Yes, it's
but
very,
you might get because the problem I would have is giving up a first round pick. But maybe if you make a move now, you can get it for a little less.
Don't you think you need
before
to
the
show guys like
deadline.
Pedersen though that like you're for real and that you're actually serious
Yeah,
about
I
winning?
agree with that.
And like he's what is he in the last year of his deal right now? Like you got to show like Vancouver, they're in a rare position right now. You got to show guys who like have contemplated leaving that like we're serious about this. Let's go all in.
I
And
agree with that.
Tanev was so good with Vancouver in that one run that what they get to? Is it just the second round of the playoffs where they play? I think they played Dallas.
The bubble year?
Yeah, the bubble year.
Yeah.
They haven't made the playoffs. Yeah, like in a real full season was it 2014-15? I think was it the last time they made like an actual playoffs or if we're
Yeah. Minus the bubble.
they wouldn't have played in. Oh, sorry, I was
not
thinking of
including
wrong
the
thing.
bubble.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I thought you meant the COVID year of like the Canadian teams. Or something.
No,
No,
like
yeah,
the,
they did
the
that, yeah.
play-in year where they
Yeah.
got in because of
Yes,
that. Yeah.
exactly.
He was so good for them in the
The trade machine is made its way to you, Luca.
Okay.
I like that trade.
I have a few Avs ones because watching this team right now, it's It's McKinnon, it's Rantanen, it's Makar, and
You're putting them all on the block?
no, it's not a lot of anyone else.
It's like that trade.
This guy
there-
actually, his heart sunk when I just said that. That's how
Some
I-
guy on Armchair GM decided to make 12 moves with 12 separate teams, and the only remaining Avs were Cale Makar. He traded Nathan McKinnon and a bunch of other people to Ottawa, and we somehow got Kachuk and Stützle back. Like, it was the wildest thing I've ever
It's
seen.
the classic 12-team trade.
I am not going on that site anymore because that place is
Don't worry, I'll bring it back.
that's wild.
afterwards.
There are 3 forwards I'd target if I was Colorado: Jake Gensel, Elias Lindholm, and Travis Konechny. All very different situations. I think the Konechny one, there have been rumors, and he still has a year left after this one, but he's off to an amazing start. And if you're Philly, like, why would you want to trade that guy? He could be a future captain of your team, so I would get not trading him. I think you'd probably have to give up 2 first-round picks and a prospect, whether that be Oscar Olofsson, who hasn't really panned out yet and got his shot in the NHL, and I think a lot of people might be giving up on him, or Callum Ritchie, who they just drafted, who seems like he's a good prospect, but I don't know if that gets it done or is good enough if you're Philly. I'd kind of throw out the same offer for Gensel, who's in the last year of his contract, but the Penguins are competing, so I think like Lindholm probably is the most realistic one, because of how Calgary's doing right now, and he probably takes the least to get. I think a first and Olofsson, maybe throw in a third in a future year, could get it done if you're Calgary, because he's 30. I don't know how kind of involved he is in your future plans, and what the future looks like in Calgary is really murky right now because of where their prospects are at and just all the money they have tied up in kind of aging vets that are not really kind of getting the job done. So I'd take a swing at him.
Okay. And did you say something for Gensel? What was
I'd
what
say
was
like
the deal
2
to try and
firsts,
get him out of it?
2 firsts at least, and you'd probably need a couple prospects, but it's going to be tough. Like, I don't know if they can make that deal happen.
There's no way Scooby Doobus trades that guy.
Very weird to imagine Gensel on any other team other than Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think Calgary's in such a weird spot. Like,
There's so much money tied up in guys.
they have a ton of money
Bench
tied up.
Huberdeau last night.
Yeah,
third
guy.
period.
But do you? It's weird. It's like, do you let a guy like Lindholm go, or do you do everything you can to sign him and then like try to win with the guys you have now? Because they have like what? How much money do they have? They have like almost $20 million locked into Huberdeau and Kadri.
They also have
They're not getting
Hannafin
out.
coming up too. Like, who's more important if you want to
They're a
sign
mess.
one of them
They-
back?
They might be the biggest mess in the league. The Flames.
They're definitely a team trade deadline time. Like, a lot of teams probably calling them about a lot of players.
While we're speaking of Hannafin, I'll add one of these cap-friendly ones in here because they're
He's a popular name for
it's a
sure.
popular name, and one of them were the Sabres. The Sabres, they do need some defense. I don't think this deal happens at all, but Noah Hannafin, Daniel Vladar for Peyton Krebs, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and a first, and then there's some sub trades in there. Joki Haru goes to the Devils for a third, and then Victor Olofsson.
I don't hate that. 'cause it's kinda just
I
mixing up for
don't
both
hate
teams.
it, but I don't think Calgary would.
I
go.
don't think it's enough return for Calgary.
Yeah, I don't think it's an. I
Krebs
agree
has
with
been
that.
Krebs has been like
Not great.
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah.
First, well, is like, I mean, it's always good to have first, but like, I don't know. I feel like a guy like Hannafin could add
He'll-
more value than that. And Vladar's been like, not. He could be like a very serviceable attendee.
He'll command more than that. I agree with Jesse's sentiment there.
I got a Sabres trade.
Oh, okay. Let's go with
Who
Sabres.
did- yeah?
You gonna trade away all my jerseys, eh?
Yeah. No, honestly, they might just get sent to the minors. But I got a big one here, and I'm interested to hear what you think of it, because I actually I'd like to know from a
sucks.
Sabres fan, it's a lot, it's pricey, but you're getting back a lot.
Is this about okay?
I think they should again, and I guess I'm just looking at the Flyers.
Yeah, this is just like this is nothing but a trade box.
I'm looking at their team like, oh, these are
look at all these
good players.
juicy picks. Like,
exactly.
That's where you gotta look at the bottom of the barrel first. They're not even that
They're
they're at
not the bottom.
No, they're not bottom, but it's like those teams that are not going to make the
Well,
playoffs.
and sorry, I just want to say to Flyers fans, I think that's the smart thing to do. Like,
agree.
you're on this hot run to start the year, so people are going to be looking at some of your players.
You're
and,
saying
they're pretty
treat
good.
yourself like a window shop? Is this
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
oh,
it probably is. I just really don't see it happening. But anyways,
the
I'd like to
Ducks
see it
too a little bit.
That's just not how that organization rolls.
fair, but maybe that's why they've sucked for so long.
Sure. No. Yeah. Also very valid.
So, I thought the Sabres should go out and get Travis Konechny and Joel Farabee.
What is this costing?
Savoy, Kulich, and a first.
Kulik?
Is it Kulich? Yeah.
I say,
And he's been unbelievable in the AHL.
I say no.
He's been for who?
I think if you're,
I think the Flyers
Buffalo-
don't. I
think the Flyers don't do that.
Yeah,
I think the Flyers
don't
say
do that.
yes to that.
I don't think so.
Those are
I
two
think-
really
I
good
think-
prospects
I think-
and a first.
I think Kulik's like really good, but like the names you just said there, like I think they'd command more.
Really?
Yeah. Savoy again, great too. No all around, if I'm being honest, just because like part of me also just wants to see how Savoy does. And also Kulik, how Kulik does, because
Of course.
again, I need someone to replace that big shot because Olafson's out of there.
I just offered 2 firsts and Olafson for Konechny. This is significantly more than that, I think.
I don't think it happens still. I just don't think the Flyers would do
It's
that.
interesting.
It's
such a-
interesting
such a
for
big
sure.
trade.
If
That'd
I'm
be
the
a
Flyers
massive
GM,
trade
I'm
if that happened.
hammering yes on that, I think.
I don't think he would hammer yes.
I don't think you would either, but I am.
Maybe it's such a big
Yeah.
trade. It's
Unless
tough to
you're
fully
pretty
comprehend.
massive.
Unless
Yeah.
you're naming Konechny captain tomorrow, then it's like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
funny.
that's the thing. Is like those guys aren't old. Like again, and I know it's funny. I was like Sanheim, not that young, 27. Konechny, not old, 26.
Nah,
Yeah, maybe I have a tough time imagining either team doing that trade. Like
because
if I'm
there's a big
Buffalo-
question mark on two of them where you want to see what they are.
Well, yeah. Like if I'm the Flyers, I'm like, okay, we kind of know what we have in Konechny. He's an amazing player. Maybe we could get more out of him. It's kind of risky to give it away for these two guys who we haven't played any NHL action. We don't really know what to think of them so far.
You don't know their
But then if
ceiling
you're,
yet.
But if you're Buffalo, you're also at the same time like we have these two amazing prospects, and like is Konechny even enough for like what these guys could be?
And of course, what you're saying, like that's what makes all trades, period, interesting.
I think
is that
when
like
both
it's
sides are unhappy, it kind of is like a good.
it's
trade.
it's possible. I just mean like
you don't make the trade.
there's just that thing again, like when you don't know someone's ceiling and it could be really high, like you just don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. And
Yeah.
like the Sabres still feel like they're in that position where, especially because they haven't started the year particularly very well. I don't know if they're going to be treating themselves like we got to make a move. They might still be like, let's keep building and see where we are. I just don't see them making moves.
I do get that, and I understand why. Like from a Sabres GM perspective, that like if you had your job no matter what, and you were like
Kevin
"We're good
Adams
here,"
has his job, yeah.
but I just mean like how many years have they been rebuilding, and like at some point where like you even for the fan base you want to try to go for it, and this year really did seem like an exciting year, and like I don't know.
Well, it could still
Of course,
be
yeah. I'm not
exciting.
writing him off. Tate Thompson's actually picked it up again
Yeah.
lately. Which,
Jeff Skinner.
yeah.
Jeff's man, I love watching him.
He's awesome.
Should I keep
Lit up the league
Should I
on
keep
Saturday?
the Konechny train going?
Man, we really did just target the Flyers.
So
Pick him apart.
So I struggle with Konechny because I feel like he's literally like one of the only good things that Philly has going for them right now in terms of like on their active roster, other than
Couturier's
Sanheim, of course.
returned too, though, 'cause he's been good.
Couturier's
I think
getting
Farabee's
older.
been really good too.
Farabee's been good, but like
Tip-tip
Konechny's their guy. You know, like Konechny's like he's a dog, and it's either they're gonna keep him and they'll like slap the C on him, or they're gonna just like throw a bag at him. But a team that like I don't know, a team I'd kind of like to see him go to, call me nuts, the Coyotes. I was like thinking in my head, like, how could we get Konechny into that top 6? And it might cost a lot and it might not make sense, but the Coyotes have good prospects. And I feel like they're in a position where they're almost ready to accelerate their rebuild a little bit. And I feel like Konechny would just add just a really nice skill piece to that top 6. And maybe it'd be
Character.
yes, some good character. Maybe it'd be a mistake. Because I think right now Lawson Krause is their second line right winger. That's just like, in my opinion, not good enough. Like, I'm into Krause.
He's had a great start to the year.
great.
He's good. I think he has like a 7 points in 11 games. He's a good player. He's valuable. Don't get me wrong. He kind of fits more into like the Adam Lowry, like a bit better, but like into the Adam Lowry mold for me. Like not necessarily a guy you want in your top 6, but like a really good guy on your third line who'll be very effective and you can put in different situations. I don't know. Maybe it'd be a mistake to do something like this, but like,
Yeah, what prospects are you giving up?
I would maybe consider giving up a guy like Gunther. And we watched Gunther at the Memorial Cup, and I got to be honest, I like Gunther. I wasn't like blown away with him. Maybe he just like I think he may have been a little hurt, but he's having a pretty good year so far in the A, and I just feel like that team needs just a little more offense, and I feel like Konechny would just be such a nice addition there. So maybe like Gunther and a draft pick for Konechny. But you got to make sure that you're signing Konechny after long term if you're the Coyotes.
I just think it's dangerous if you're going to give up a first if you're the Coyotes because you could just bottom out. I know you can protect picks and things like that, but that probably costs a little more. Too.
I don't know if I would throw in a first. Like I think Gunther.
I think you have to.
Gunther and a first for Konechny.
I wouldn't do Gunther for Konechny straight up.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
I think I would. I'm very into.
If you
Why
were
would
Flyers?
Why would Philly say yes to that?
What?
The Flyers,
Oh, I thought you
though.
meant
No,
the
no, the
Coyotes.
Oh, if you're the
Flyers.
Coyotes, yeah, absolutely.
of course.
But
the Flyers.
why would Philly say
No,
yes to that?
you'd have to throw in something else too. Well, I don't know. Gunther's like he's a pretty promising prospect. He's having a pretty good year in the A. I don't think it would just be Gunther, but like you can throw in whether it's like, I don't know, maybe a second. I don't think Arizona's going to bottom out. And if you go for a guy like Konechny, you're hoping that you don't bottom out. I'm not saying that they are necessarily going to make the playoffs this year. I just feel like I look at the top six. There's some promise, and they have some good prospects. But like sometimes you never really know with prospects. And to get like a surefire guy who can score like 35 to 40 goals for you, play with a lot of talented players in that top six, I would be interested in doing that if I was Arizona.
I would too, yeah. I think just the Philly side of it, like I think I just need a lot more if I'm Philly.
It is funny to me still thinking like we've targeted them the most again because their cupboard looks very full for like the picking, but like genuinely I think they're not probably doing anything is
Probably
the funny thing
not.
at the end of any of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Or if anything,
It's the way they
It'll
roll.
be next year for Konechny,
yeah.
not this.
Yeah. Anyways, does anyone else have any good trades? Or are we going on to
I think that's
Just
it
think,
for
don't
me.
tweet.
I think I'm the only thing I was gonna say was that trade would definitely help out my bet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The last delusion one, and then we will absolutely move on to Don't Think, Just Tweet. Dubas bringing back some guys is what this one is called.
Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner gets traded with Jake McCabe for Jake Gunsel, Marcus Pedersen, Pierre Oliver Joseph, and a second rounder from Pittsburgh.
Can't even throw in a first, eh?
So
What's Gensel going to demand on his next contract is what I'm wondering.
someone
fun, eh?
sat down in front of their computer,
Typed. You're never gonna get that time back, buddy.
Korak.
You should have looked at it and went, oh.
How old is Gensel?
Oh,
What is he, 94?
I guess 28.
Don't think, just tweet. Are you guys ready? Jesse, we're going to start off with you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What team will Patrick Kane end up signing with?
Looking for a wild card here. Patrick Kane will sign with the Dallas Stars. Because and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just who I'd like to see him sign with. But if I'm him, I'm just like looking to sign with the best team possible. Dallas seems like a cool place to live. Good veterans on the team. And, as much as I'd like to say a team like Buffalo, he's from Buffalo.
You're good. You don't have to say that.
No, I just don't really feel like Buffalo is like there yet. And I feel like the Red Wings aren't necessarily there yet. I don't really know.
Where does he fit in?
Pardon?
Where do you think he fits in, though? Got Pavelski, Dodonov, Sagan.
I feel like second line right wing would be like a very nice spot for him.
Dodonov's done pretty well in that line, though. Anyways,
It's-
but he could
yeah,
be.
I don't know. I feel like you can put him anywhere there. He can play on
Sure.
the power play. Like I just feel like Dallas seems like they're in a position, they're ready to make a run, and he would just be he doesn't have to be the guy, but he'd be a nice addition, some nice secondary offense for that team.
Corwin, you are up next. Rank from most likely to continue to least likely to continue. Canucks having a top 3 record in the West. Pittsburgh having a bottom 3 record in the East. The Bruins killing 94% of their penalties while committing the 3rd most amount of penalties.
that's actually hilarious.
Kind of wild.
Love a good kill.
Love a good kill.
They just love taking penalties, eh?
Oh, yeah. Just goons.
It's crazy that they're this good with
Yeah.
that record and that amount of penalties.
Yeah. At first, I was like, oh, maybe they haven't had many. Nope.
No, they take a ton.
Yeah.
So I gotta rank those from least likely to most likely.
Yeah. To continue.
So to continue, I think least likely is the Penguins. Like it's like the least
I was
fun
going to say
one.
the Bruins one. the Bruins one seems a little bit
that
more.
isn't least likely to continue?
94%?
If I've learned anything, don't bet against the Bruins.
You know what? That's fair. That's a fair point.
But I'm just gonna say.
Jari's out now for the Penguins too.
I know, but like, are you joking me? They're gonna be a bottom 3 team. There's no.
Hey man, it's his tweet.
There's no. Okay, so yeah. Let me just say my tweet. Least likely, Penguins. Medium likely, Canucks. Most likely, Bruins.
All right.
Don't bet against the Bruins.
Don't ever bet
Hashtag
against
don't bet against
the Bruins. Yeah.
Don't bet against the Bruins. Already bet against the Canucks.
Yeah. No. Well, they've been fun to
At
watch.
that point, you may as well just
The
put them at
Canucks?
the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
hey.
respect.
You gotta enjoy it, Canucks fans. That's fun.
Luca. Ovi has 2 goals this year, one of which is an empty netter. 2 goals as of this recording.
Ooh.
How many goals does he end the year with?
Oh God.
What, like 50 or 60?
Over under. What do we set the line at?
Not 50. I'm going to set the line at 35.
I'm going under. It's been a tough start to the season,
Prudent. And
and
wise.
Dylan Strome is clearly taking all his goal scoring powers away.
He space jammed him.
Space jammed him. Dylan Strome for 60 this year.
I don't think he's nearly on pace.
Under
definitely
under
not.
30?
Yeah, under 35. Maybe he gets to like 33, 34. I thought you
like,
said
no,
the
I'm sa-
over under to 35.
I did, but I was like,
no,
I
not
was
under
asking.
30. Maybe like between 30 and 35.
Okay.
But
You guys are in
don't know.
agreement?
It's pretty crazy.
You, get off your phone.
I don't think he hits 40, but so I think in that range.
It's a good over. That's a good line
Yeah,
right
it's a
there.
good line.
It's a good line.
I think
Here
like
to take your money.
I think like 32. We'll finish with.
See, you set the perfect line there.
Great work.
I don't do that often and won't do it again.
Push.
Like-
I'm gonna push 35.
Wow.
Jesse, you are next. Last week, we discussed the best lines in the league. But what's one line that we did not mention that you're surprised hasn't clicked as of yet this year? Ooh. Might be Return to the Stars? No? Actually, no. They didn't find the other
they've
night.
been good.
No, I was going to say the top line. There's a we didn't. That was the one line we
Yeah.
didn't take, which I think we were right not to in that very moment.
Yeah.
Wait, which line? The
Pavelski.
Heinz
Robertson.
Robertson.
Did you?
yeah. At the
Well, then I'm a liar.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're picking it up though.
They are picking it up.
Yeah, they've been good.
are. But they were slow to start the year, which is like start the year's 10 games.
the other line that like I don't know if you're just kind of thinking now, but the other line that we talked about briefly as because they hadn't been rolling it. Mm-hmm. The Kucherov point
And
Hagel line.
Now they're dominating.
yeah. But
We all laughed at Brendan Hagel.
I think he's got the second most even strength points in the league right now.
Hagel.
who you going with, Jesse? Don't worry, top of the head, not searching him. Who do you? And you get to pass
sorry.
too.
I mean, for what we're used to seeing from them, the Oilers.
Yeah?
I guess.
Everyone picked it as
Like-
number one. I guess.
Like
yeah.
they should be better. It's insane to see. I mean, McDavid's clearly playing hurt, but it's still just like so weird to see that he hasn't been very good statistically. And also another guy who like I don't know how much if it's as much the line because I feel like Roslovic has been pretty good, but like Johnny Gaudreau has been bad.
Yeah.
And like that's another thing. That's
That's
another
a good one. That's a good one.
That's another trade candidate who I'm like for actually I don't even know if anyone would
who's
want to take
taking
him.
that?
But like
New Jersey.
well,
Get him there.
the team he should have signed with.
Do you imagine if like,
Devil's
they,
outside.
they got him?
Gordon
That's,
Pascal.
that's the first thing he said. You know,
A long play.
I yes the trade because I wanted to be closer to my family, and each trade is getting me closer, or each signing.
That'd be another interesting team for Patrick Kane. The Devils.
The Devils, especially if Hughes is injured for a while, which I guess we don't know.
And
yet.
Heischer, too.
Yeah, and he sure. But either way, let's move on to our very next one. Corwin, you are up with this one. What would you consider to be more impressive? Gretzky reaching 50 goals in 37 games,
I thought it was 39 games.
or the Sharks reaching a minus 50 goal differential in 15 games? They have not yet. They're at minus 42 through 12.
Big win last night, but it really didn't help the differential. They only won by one.
No.
Yeah.
You hope for a blowout in those.
It didn't hurt the differential though. That's what all you can really ask.
Prolong the inevitable.
Yeah. I wonder like. Are they just gonna be a mojo builder all year for teams? Like,
Oh,
or,
yeah. Like the Oilers play them
Yeah,
to-
is Edmonton just gonna run that? Like, are we seeing another double?
That game hasn't happened, by the way. By the time you watch this,
Yeah,
that game's
on
happened.
Thursday. Oh my
The
gosh.
Oilers are gonna
No,
lose.
this should be tomorrow. No.
No, but the game's tonight.
No.
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The Oilers are gonna lose, and it's gonna be a tire fire.
If the Oilers lose to the Sharks, like that,
Fire everyone.
something has
Trade
to happen.
McDavid, trade Draisaitl.
Yeah, get UC Saros
Trade-
in.
Armchair
Trade-
GM it.
trade
Just trade
Darn owners.
everyone.
Oh wait, you'll never be able to do that.
Oh boy.
So what's more impressive?
What's more impressive? I don't know, like Gretzky, like
You had to really think.
I actually think it's the Sharks because like
Man, under 15 games would be crazy.
Gretzky was scoring on like goalies wearing like literally like thin pillows for pads.
They didn't know how to go down.
it's Gretzky because like San Jose's team is so
I mean,
goddamn
history
bad.
makers, both
Wait,
history
wait,
makers.
aren't you saying what's more? You're saying Gretzky's more impressive because San Jose is like you expect that from. San
I
Jose.
expect that because they have the worst roster of all time.
Both making history. Luca, this one's just a little fun one off the charts because I am pondering this. I've been pondering this for a long time.
Okay.
I was given $50 off a jersey purchase when Cool Hockey accidentally sent me 3 Cale Makar jerseys by mistake and I sent them back. What jersey should I be getting for this discount?
Ooh,
Not from the Sabres.
This is a fun one.
What's a nice
Not from
what's
the
a nice
Sabres?
neutral blockbuster jersey that's just fun to wear?
So you want like a good looking jersey,
Is that
right?
the current player.
I don't know. It's up to you, man.
Ooh.
Anything you'd get.
This would be fun too. Non-current. Current, I love the Arizona jerseys.
They are nice.
Like Logan Cooley or Clayton Keller would be just a fun jersey to have for
The
Arizona.
new Arizona jerseys are also sick. They wore them against the Jets.
Yeah.
They
Talking
wanted
about the
to say
maroon?
Arizona. Man, so sick. They, have,
they look like a
cactus
Christmas.
on the side.
They look like the Christmas jerseys from like the NBA from years
Also,
ago.
just saying,
Or-
sorry to interrupt, watching games at Mullet Arena on TV is so much fun. It's a blast. And the Jets played the Coyotes on Saturday. One of the funnest games of the season to watch, in my opinion, from the Jets.
If we're going throwback, Old Ducks Paul Correa.
They don't sell that.
Okay. Well, then
This guy didn't understand the assignment.
you said I can pick a player from the past.
Yeah, but not jersey that
Okay,
doesn't exist
then-
on their website.
Then
It's-
fine. Do they have? Like,
I think you already said your Arizona.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
fine.
that's
It's fine.
Paul
Also-
Correa would be a good one though.
You know what's a dope jersey to just like rock out on the street? The old Blues jerseys.
Which
The one that they
ones?
made the red reverse retro off of.
Oh,
the
yeah,
blue
those are-
one with the
those
smaller
are
letters,
sick.
with the smaller numbers that go across.
You know, with just like a Jordan Binnington on. Just,
Whoa, no, you got like Gretzky or Pronger.
I was
man.
joking.
Vintage Goods Manitoba had a Pronger one. with
That
the
is
cheddar.
sick.
It was sick.
Yeah, Brett Hull would be cool too. But-
Quote tweet: Get a Travis Sanheim Canucks skate jersey.
Wow. Yeah, we'll punish Corwin with that one.
Yeah.
Corwin, we'll sling back to you and then we'll end with you, Jesse. What was your takeaway from our semifinal game in the warehouse?
He's got that dog in him, you know.
I thought that play we had at the boards where I ran into you and then you ran up the ice was going to look cooler than it did. I just fell.
Yeah, but you really grinded that one out. You got 2 gritty goals there. It was a hell of a performance. You got I was rooting for you in the end, but still.
But you knew we were going to lose because you watched it live already.
Yes, of course. No, but I meant when I was there, I was rooting for you.
Oh, yeah.
Barber was giving you guys some awesome compliments on commentary.
He was.
Every game that I
Yeah.
watched of you guys, he was very thrilled with how you
I think
both
he
were
did
playing.
great in the booth, by the way.
He was
Yeah,
good.
he was
great
awesome.
banter, and he is like electric. When you
Oh,
play, it actually was night and day the second he got on there. Like he was an immediate threat, and you're just like, please don't hit him in the eye with this thing.
Yeah, but Pav, you never scored for us. What the hell?
He did say that you were better at floor hockey than ice hockey, but then followed
I
up by
know.
saying he's good at ice hockey, but floor hockey he's found his calling.
And he, I eventually watched the last one. He chirped me a bit in that one, which was fair because I was just
You
yeah. I just kept dumping the.
That's the one thing I think people did not realize is because like we filmed them in was it 3 days pretty much, and it was like just packed.
Yeah, you're playing
And by the end of
back-to-back.
it, I was just like, you're just checked out because you're like, I'm so
Had some
tired.
drinks the night
So
before.
fun
Yeah,
though, man.
and it was just
So
what the
fun.
gym was so hot. That
The
warehouse
gym,
was
it's-
piping hot.
You're playing the
man.
games in a sauna.
It was a sauna.
That's so fun.
Sounds
though.
nice.
They're like,
They have a cold tub?
They did.
Really?
Yes,
yeah,
You guys take advantage of it?
Yeah,
he did.
every
I did
game,
not.
yeah.
nice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I love
Always into saunas
those.
and cold tubs.
I love when you play just like all back to back, like in the same day. Like there's football.
Yeah, we never do hockey tournaments.
We never
Or
do
should-
hockey
we should
ones.
do hockey
There's
tournaments.
football ones that they do on like or Boxing Day. I think it's like Easter, Good Friday, where it's like an overnight tournament. You start at like midnight and then play until 6 a.m. if you're playing for the championship. I've done it a couple times. It's a blast. It's electric.
That sounds
Well,
fun.
congrats, Dangle, on your championship. There we go.
yeah.
He was like the best defenseman in that tournament by the end of it. So
Wow.
congrats to him. Guy lifted it.
Maybe the Leafs don't need to trade for Santa.
They got one. Jesse, net guards are now mandatory in a number of leagues. Do you see it becoming mandatory, in beer leagues?
It's funny because I actually did tweet this.
I actually didn't see that. I saw you made a video though.
Yes.
He was wearing one last night.
Oh yeah, I'm
you
wearing one,
were?
I'm wearing one going forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it was good. It was. I mean, it was as much of a wake up call in my opinion as you could possibly get from what happened. I feel terrible for Adam Johnson and his family and friends, and I just hope that everyone, takes steps towards avoiding those kinds of situations. I feel like beer leagues should. Like it's net guards are one of those things. It's like, why is it that we got to a certain age and we just like had to stop using them? It didn't, and I'm someone who like I stopped using a net guard, and like looking back, I'm like, wow, like it's totally reasonable to think that could have happened to anyone in beer league off of the flukiest plays.
Did you guys see that thread that someone on Twitter made one where it was all plays where like
Yeah,
the skate
yeah.
comes up high and like it was pretty like ooh, and I get it, and it didn't happen on any of those ones, but we're like, yeah, it's common enough that you're trying to prevent one of these. It's not trying to prevent it on every single night. You're like, what happened should never happen.
And just pointed out how ridiculous the like witch hunt was on that thing. For
Yeah.
like one of the
Yeah.
dumbest things I've ever seen on the internet.
I did not watch the play.
Nope, neither.
I didn't really feel comfortable with it, but I heard obviously what happened with. That's just awful that even happened in the first place. I do hope that beer leagues implement it because like there's no reason why people shouldn't be wearing it. Also, like for people who don't wear visors in beer league, at our hockey game on Sunday, someone
You say visor? Like they don't.
Like, I
it's
think-
been
I
a
think
while since I've seen someone no visor.
I think it's mandatory in beer league now.
yeah,
in
but
our league.
you get it a lot in like so I play in a couple different leagues and one of them isn't one of them's not even a league. It's just like these 20 guys get together that always play together and a bunch of them don't wear it. But like they're older guys.
because it's
so,
just like a free ice kind of thing. There's no
yeah, it's like
league,
you just make it's like kind of
Yeah,
make
that's
up.
I got hit so hard in the face by someone's stick. Like it didn't hurt, but I got hit so hard in the face in my bubble on Sunday, and I even looked over to one of the guys on the ice. I was like, "Well, that's why we wear visors." Like, I would have broke my nose. I could have lost all my teeth. Like it would have been awful.
Last night, remember the puck that hit the post where I was kind of in front and then moved to the back as it was like a
So you hit the post, the puck,
yeah.
so you weren't shooting.
When did Riney hit the post?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I was
you weren't
like
shooting.
right behind that, and if that didn't hit the post, it probably hits me in the mouth.
Yeah.
Because you get a bubble or something.
Yeah,
buddy. Every
man.
time he comes
To not-
out there,
to
I'm
not
always
wear-
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, the very
it's your
yeah.
choice, but
Like that, like
It's dumb for sure.
and like I don't think people will make cages and bubbles mandatory, but I do
Yeah.
think that net guards should be mandatory, especially if you're seeing like so many actual like pro leagues doing it. It's like anything can happen, and I don't think that these beer leagues are gonna like want.
the insurance
lawsuit
will,
too, yeah.
will definitely dictate all of this, like whether or not moving forward something happens there where it's just necessary. And I'm sure, like
not-
did you notice it by the way? Like, when
No,
you put it on?
they're-
did you
they're-
even notice it when you put it on?
They're not even uncomfortable. Like
Yeah, they're
it sucks when they're wet, but like just air it out.
Also shout out to your guy Patty Line, who like
He's been doing it.
yeah,
doing it.
like for
Yeah.
years. He's just been
doing
wearing neck guards.
Thomas Mechanics.
Yeah. Was that a neck guard or was he just wearing a
Yeah, I thought he was
turtleneck.
wearing
It's
a
just a turtleneck.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. But the look.
Better than nothing.
You know what? It still helped. Style innovator. That is our podcast for the week. And guys, I think that's like 6 weeks in a row now.
We're on fire.
We're rolling. Wow. If you're having fun watching this, why don't you go ahead and give it a like? Because, of course, that helps. We appreciate you tuning in for this. And I don't know, maybe next time we'll do a little bit of a mailbag segment. So
That'd be
in
good.
the comments, why why don't you just type something out? It can be a crazy take. It can be a question about anything to do with just the NHL, hockey in general, Bardown in general. And I'll pick them out next time. And at the end, we'll do a little mailbag to have some fun.
What ends first, our streak or William Nylander's? Let us know.
What's his streak now?
Who's he going to have the
12 games,
streak
I think.
with next year? That's the real.